Mackenzie Enterprises. We make you look good.
I would say that local businesses are probably the largest hurdle. We can be open almost 24 hours a day, but sometimes people don't want to come down here to grab, food when they can go to the little Asian joint down the road. My name is Marco Ferenzi, and I was one of the probably original 5 or 10 members of the Del Perro Fishing Club. Caradwin Flynn and Bruce Dennings being the original owners. Bruce was the owner of the fishing club, quote unquote. They had to put an owner to it. Caradwin Flynn was the owner of this place. So I just, I was just a waiter here, helping out every now and then. And when they needed my help, I was here. And I've just been here ever since. Now I obviously own the place. But as soon as Caradwin Flynn wants it back, it's hers. I'm just like a temporary owner, I suppose. Well, before Mutiny, there was literally no system integration. You didn't have a register. You didn't have any way to track inventory or transactions. So you always had to go through some third party like Trello or a ledger that you might have created on Excel or something. And now it's a lot easier because you have your refrigerators, your storage units, on-demand importing, and the register is honestly probably the best, hands down, addition to post-mutiny restaurant systems. I would say that local businesses are probably the largest hurdle. We can be open almost 24 hours a day, but sometimes people don't want to come down here to grab, food when they can go to the little Asian joint down the road, or I'm sure you get what I mean, It's easier for them to do that. They don't have to talk to anybody. Locals do nothing to stimulate the economy, and there's always a restaurant open whenever you need one open. I don't think I've ever seen one not open. That's definitely the biggest hurdle. And also deliveries. I've noticed, Billy, we're doing an interview. Okay, thanks, buddy. Delivery orders will come through. It'll tell you what to cook. It won't tell you where to go or anything of the sort. So you kind of just have to do it all by text communication, or as you saw, we have online ordering.
Where would you say most of your interest comes as far as people coming out? Would be events, or would be fine dining?
Unfortunately, as much as I would like to say fine dining, I don't think people are usually too interested in that. Every now and then we get customers that come in and they're dressed up and they want the fancier things like caviar or salmon, and they want to go out back and sit with their significant other while the sunset's happening and all that jazz. But usually, I'm going to be honest with you, all of our money will come from events, catering orders, and takeout. People will come by and stock the corporate fridge, like SASS might place a huge order, that kind of thing. The dine-in experience is definitely not really what people come for, and it should be, but it isn't.
What was the hardest part of getting set back up, and what did Dockle do to assist?
Post-mutiny, I wasn't the owner. It was Charles O'Connell. Right when mutiny happened, a couple weeks later is when he transferred it to me because he was an unfit owner. He did a lot of things he shouldn't have done. And Dockle makes it extremely hard because there is no precedence set up for unfit ownership. They just kind of look at, are you paying your premises taxes, your business license tax? They don't really evaluate the whole scope of things. I feel like they used to come around every now and then and they would inspect and they'd ask some questions and see how things are going, and they don't do that kind of thing now. But Valentino Vespucci, when all was said and done, he definitely did, he got the business license transferred super quick. So once they were finally willing to work, they did a great job. It was just getting them to actually do the work to begin with that was a struggle.
Do you think that's a limitation on them wanting to do it, or maybe the bills in place to enable them to?
Well, post-mutiny, they probably had a lot to do. So I'm definitely understanding, I can't come at them all combative and stuff. I can just kind of say, it could have been better. Really, that's about it at the moment.
What has been the biggest headache of owning a restaurant?
In a traditional restaurant environment, there's a hot hour. You got your lunch and your dinner windows that people are going to come by and get food. It's going to be busy, so you want to have it staffed. And so, you go and you hire 10, 20, up to 30 people to try and keep the restaurant open 24/7. But I mean, your employees get bored, you know, they're just standing here waiting for customers, and it's really intermittent and iffy if they ever even do come in. I'd say like staffing the restaurant and keeping it staffed is definitely a pain in the rump.
Okay. What has been the most rewarding aspect of owning a restaurant?
Seeing it succeed. I mean, watching the bank account go up, even though I still give everybody good supplemental paychecks. So I'm making sure that everybody who works under me is getting paid as well as me. And that's really nice to see.
What kind of special offers or events do you guys
Cool,
take
brother. I'm
on
gonna head
in
over
here?
there to the storage unit now.
We have our upstairs room that we have for like private events and whatnot. It's got a giant table, so it's pretty popular among like social gatherings, like or wedding after parties or something of the sort. And it's got a bar and all that up there as well. So that's probably the nicest amenity we have, is if somebody wants to have a private event where they can just yell and freak out and dance and have a good time, we have that available upstairs. This is just our private area. You know, up there we have I call it the technology booth. I'm no good at any of that stuff, so I'm not going to start trying to name what it is. Obviously, what you're standing on is our little dance floor. We got a little piano here, a big old giant table, and then all the way on that end over there is like a little lounge area with a bar. And yeah, typically we just charge like a little surcharge for being up here, because every time someone comes up here, we do dedicate at least 2 waiters to them so that everything goes smooth.
How many menu items do you currently have?
I think that we currently have actually imported like custom items. I think we're like 7 or 8. If you really had to break it all down, it'd probably be like 20 something.
How much did you spend on imports so far?
About 50 grand, if I remember correctly.
Would you say that you've already made your money back on those imports, or are you still working on that?
So Pearls has made its money back, yeah. Multiple times over.
So it's doable. Would you say it's where to rate the difficulty of owning a restaurant like this on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest. Where'd you rate this?
So I'm just gonna say it was like a 7, because of all the stress of catching the place up, you know, starting imports, making sure people get good pay, hiring people, like all that kind of just got shoved onto me at one time. Then it was pretty stressful, but I've been dealing with that kind of thing my whole life. Now I'm pretty hands off with this place. I have James Valor, one of my managers, who hires people for me all the time. I have many employees now that'll just be around, and the restaurant, it's the bottom line is still green. So I think it'd be totally fair for me to say it's like a 1 now.
What would be your advice to somebody who wants to start up a restaurant business?
So first, patience, because you're going to have to be here a lot, period. And that's just the unfortunate truth. And if you can't be here a lot, then someone who you trust needs to be here a lot as well. And then 2 is staffing. Like you need to hire and train people to 120%, because they'll give you about 80%, you know?
If you were to say there's one key ingredient to being successful in this industry, what would you say it is?
Marketing, especially word of mouth. That's pretty much what it comes down to, you know? If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So don't let it be out of sight.
All right. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to wrap it up? Anything that we haven't covered that you want people to know about Pearls?
This place has always been about community. It's created by a community. It's for the community. Like that's kind of the message that, you know, we want to pull everybody together. Like have the Del Perro Pier be kind of like glue, like it was for a lot of us at the fishing club. So
I think that's everything we're gonna get out of your hair.
appreciate you guys choosing me, and I hope my answers were decent.